I think the title race is over. I think that Liverpool are going to win the league because Arsenal Football Club have dropped the ball and Manchester City look really terrible this season. Arsenal nil, Everton nil, and what an undesirable game of football if you're an Arsenal fan. That was prime Sean Dyche ball at its best. It was everything that a Sean Dyche team could ever be and more. And Arsenal just couldn't break them down. And I think that Arsenal's chances of winning the Premier League are officially done, in my humble opinion. I am going to say right here, right now, that I don't think Arsenal are going to get anywhere near winning a league under Mikel Arteta. I think their window has passed. Because 2 seasons ago, and even last season, to be fair, I thought that Arsenal were not only one of the most scintillating, entertaining, and enthralling teams in Europe, but they were also efficient. They were potent. They were scoring loads of goals, creating lots of chances, genuinely controlling games of football and suffocating teams, and they weren't leaking goals as well. They had everything you want except that finishing touch, which is getting over the line and actually winning. And now, all of that is completely gone. And you can't blame injuries anymore because Odegaard is back. We were told that this Arsenal team is playing poorly because Martin Odegaard, their key creator, their chief operating officer in the middle of the park, is not available, and that is the reason for their demise. And yet, even with Odegaard in the team, they cannot seem to get that spark back. And I look at Mikel Arteta on the dugout. He looks like a man who's lost. He looks like a man who knows that he is under a lot of pressure, and he knows that he has spent a lot of money on this Arsenal team. He knows that this is the time. It has to happen now. If not, it should have happened last season or the season before that. I think it's done. Arsenal are bottlers. And today's game is just a perfect example of Arsenal Football Club in a nutshell. Because they've dominated the game. They really did dominate the game. They controlled possession. They did everything right apart from penetrate the box and score. And it's just such a disappointing performance. Martin Odegaard, hooked. Stinker and hooked. Declan Rice, a signing who was supposed to be a statement signing. A genuinely world-class talent according to a lot of people. Not me, but according to a lot of football fans. He was a genuinely world-class talent at the time when he was coming from West Ham. And there was a battle, a bidding war between Manchester City, between Arsenal, and Arsenal won. And they made a statement signing. And that was supposed to be their marquee signing. That was supposed to be their guy. That was supposed to be the missing piece in Arsenal's midfield. You've got Partey, you've got Rice, you've got Odegaard. What more do you need? You've got Saka on the right, Martinelli on the left, and hey, you've got Kai Havertz in the middle who's actually doing a decent job. They had all the ingredients, according to a lot of Arsenal fans. But rivals like myself, and some Arsenal fans to be fair, have always been very skeptical about this Arsenal team. And I think the lack of activity in the transfer window is coming back to bite Mikel Arteta and Arsenal. I think the lack of a striker, I think the lack of somebody who's actually able to grab the game by the scruff of the neck and actually say what's up, besides Saka, because Saka can't do it by himself. Saka has been a phenomenal player for Arsenal for a very long time, and he's changed my mind. I think Saka is deserving of the utmost respect, but he can't do it alone. And today is yet another example of why Arsenal need more. You can't just rely on Saka. You can't just rely on Odegaard. They are not enough. You need a gunman. You need somebody who's going to show up in the big moments. And today, Arsenal just didn't have that. Lackluster performances all over the pitch. I mean, I look at that entire team. Apart from the defense, of course, Declan Rice didn't do enough. Moreno didn't do enough. Odegaard didn't do enough. Saka did as much as he could, to be honest. He was actually getting involved, making things happen for Arsenal, but unfortunately just couldn't get the final ball. Kai Havertz, for me, not necessarily good enough. And I've been saying that Kai Havertz is not good enough for Arsenal for quite some time. Not to say that he didn't have a good season last season, and not to say that he isn't having a good season now, but if Arsenal are genuinely serious about being title contenders, Kai Havertz cannot be your starting striker. And I've been having this argument with an Arsenal fan who's a family member of mine for the longest of time. And they disagree with me, or, well, I don't know if they disagree anymore, but at the time they disagreed with me. And I would love to know your thoughts if you're an Arsenal fan in the comments down below, because I don't think Havertz is a bad player. I don't think he's been bad for Arsenal. But if you guys want to challenge for the league and win the league, he can't be your starting number 9. Or at the very least, he can't be your only option. You can't be bringing on Gabriel Jesus at the Emirates Stadium to save a game of football. That can't be your option off the bench. Trossard has not been good enough. And I rate Trossard. He's my baller. I love him. I love him to death, and I hate the fact that he plays for Arsenal. But he's not been good enough recently. He has not been able to deliver the goods off the bench or whether as a starter. And there was a time where I genuinely questioned Mikel Arteta for not starting Trossard. But I get it now. Trossard just isn't quite cutting the mustard in a red shirt at the Emirates. I don't know if it's the pressure of playing for Arsenal Football Club and playing for a big club, the jump from Brighton. I don't know if it's just that he's not good enough. I don't know if it's a combination of all of those things, plus the fact that Arsenal are capitulating, the departure of Edu, and obviously the downfall of this Mikel Arteta team, the slow regression from where they were a couple of seasons ago. I don't know. But there is something brewing at the Emirates, and it is not something positive. It is something that I think is very, very reminiscent of a downfall. And honestly, very reminiscent of Arsenal teams of the past. They really did tease us. They really did make us believe. Not all of us, but I was one of the believers. I genuinely believed a couple of seasons ago that Arsenal were going to win the league. And I genuinely believed last season at some point that they could still win the league. But this season, they aren't fooling me. I think this season, it's done. And I don't think Mikel Arteta is ever going to win major honours at Arsenal Football Club. I don't think he's going to win the Champions League, and I certainly don't think he's going to win the Premier League. He might win an FA Cup, he might win a Carabao Cup this season, but he doesn't seem to prioritise those competitions. So it's league or bust, and it's looking like bust at the moment. If there are any Arsenal fans watching, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Or if you're a rival, where do Arsenal go from here? Because Liverpool, down to 10 men, they found a way. They drew against Fulham. Liverpool are finding a way every single week, despite not playing at their best, despite not being pretty. Today specifically, probably one of their worst games of the season, they still find a way to walk away with something. Down to 10 men. What's your excuse, Arsenal FC? I ask again, because we heard about the red cards, we heard about the injuries, we heard about this, we heard about that. What's your excuse this time? Playing against a 15th place Everton. When Manchester United beat Everton, it was just Everton. Relax. Stop getting gassed, everybody. It's just Everton. Everton are not a good team. Keep the same energy, guys. Keep the same energy. Beating Everton ain't for everybody. It's been your boy Triple M. Leave a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Peace!